So welcome everyone to a conversation with Alive Activities. My name is Emma Smith. I'm the project manager with Empowered Conversations, which is a project of Age UK Salford. And I'm delighted that we've got Ben and Emma with us today from Alive Activities, who are going to tell us a lot about what they do down in Bristol and other just in Bristol.
No, so currently we were working around the southwest and in other areas. We then honed in to Bristol because so we're Bristol based. We're a very small charity originally. We were working across like sort of Hampshire and East Sussex. But what we felt we really wanted to do was hone in our services. So then we sort of brought it back into Bristol. So for the past few years, all of our sort of face-to-face sessions and things were in Bristol. And now, as sort of a result of COVID, things have gone a bit more virtual and we're much less geographically restricted. So in a nutshell, no, we're not just restricted to Bristol anymore.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So if anyone hasn't been on one of our webinars before, I'm just going to do a little bit of an introduction. We're then going to have a conversation with Ben and Emma about Alive Activities and Alive on Demand. And then towards the end, we're going to have a Q&A section, which is where you get to ask your questions. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, there's a little Q&A. So at any point, if you have a question that pops in your mind, rather than write it down or try and remember it, just pop it in there and then we'll pick up that question at the end of our conversation. So I hope that's okay. Obviously you found chat function already. So once we start having a conversation, it'd be helpful if you just went into Q&A rather than chat, because chat keeps popping up and then we get ever so distracted by it. Well, I do anyway. So a little bit about Empowered Conversations. We deliver communication courses for family carers and professionals across Greater Manchester, and we've been doing that for the last 5 years. The courses give people a chance to pause and reflect on communication, think about connection, and think about how they can make some changes to how they communicate with people living with dementia. For the last few years, we've also had another project called Empowered Carers, which offers one-to-one support on Zoom for family carers to help them with the day-to-day challenges of caring for people with dementia. And as a result of COVID, like you guys, we did a load of different things. So we have an online disco, we have a come and sing group, we do these webinars on a regular basis, and we have groups that support carers as well. So that's who we are and what we do up here in Salford. So I think we're going to make a start, if that's okay. So you've already told me where you are and sort of the area that you cover. Can you tell me a little bit more about Alive? Because we started with where you are rather than what you do. So what is Alive? What do you do?
Yeah, so if I can just go right back to the beginning. I apologize if I do well. Most people do that know us and that work with us. Alive started a chap called Tim. Him and two of his mates that were sort of festival goers, didn't have any experience in the field. Tim's gran got put into a care home, and every time he went to visit her, she was sat in front of a TV watching soaps, and he knew how much she hated soaps in her day-to-day life. So obviously she then was in a position in her later life that she couldn't get that point across, that she didn't want to sit watching soaps. But every time he went to see her, she was in the lounge watching soaps. So him and two of his mates just had this idea, like, this is absolutely ridiculous. We entertain at festivals. Why don't we just go into care homes and entertain in there? So that's where the whole sort of engaging activities side started. And it was very much those three just not really knowing what they were doing too much, just popping in and entertaining, basically. And they then realized that they were getting more and more popular. It was a real goer. So they then registered as a charity. And sort of that's where we are today. So it was everybody who works for Alive has a personal story and a personal connection with dementia. It's always what comes up in interviews, and most people do cry in their interview because we've got a little rule: if you don't cry in the interview, you're probably not going to get the job. But yeah, and so that what started as such a small idea really has then come to what it is today. So we still go into care homes and deliver engaging activities. Those have sort of developed into alive clubs, where we then open up to members of the community as well. So rather than just it being within a care setting, you open up. So you've got the social element, people can make friends. You've then got something to look forward to, both residents and the community. And that started as because we then went from services to go into projects. So projects is Emma's bag, but projects was very much more community based. And how can we get so there's lots of intergenerational projects within the community, and it was how can we get, link these members of the community up. And that was when Alive Clubs developed, because then it was, well, hold on, we can link projects and services. Let's get members of the community into the care homes. I mean, from the care homes perspective, it's then potential sort of future marketing for future. Do you know what I mean? It's just a win-win-win. The residents get to make friends, the members of the community get to make friends, care staff get potential future customers and residents. And so yeah, it just seemed like a no-brainer, really. Emma, do you want to say a bit more about your actual projects that you're running?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Emma. I lead on the project side of things. I lead a team of about 7 people, running about 10 different projects, everything from the intergenerational work that Ben mentioned. So we do a lot of social action work, so volunteering projects that younger and older people can do together to make a change in their community and feel valued and like they've got something to give. We do a lot of work with micro volunteering and volunteers. So we ran the wishing washing line, which that went national. So we worked with people in Essex and Liverpool and people all over the country to set up their own washing lines where older people could wish for things that they would like to do, and members of the public would grant them. So we had old ladies getting arrested and people going up in planes and people meeting their favourite sports teams and all sorts. We also do a lot of work with community gardening. So we have an allotment, we do gardening sessions in care homes and in memory cafes. And recently we've been training other organisations in setting up their own dementia-friendly allotments. That's been really popular. And we do intergenerational sessions with younger people and older people at those as well. And then more recently, during the pandemic, I've been leading on the tech projects that we've been doing. So everything from helping older people get online, helping older people feel more comfortable with using technology in a personal way, as well as just for the boring things like banking. And we have some really good training and guides that are free for older people as well, if they would like to get a bit more in touch with technology as the world has changed in the last year. And I've also been working to make software more user-friendly for older people with various accessibility issues, whether that's cognitive, sensory, or even confidence. And one of those has been Alive on Demand. Some of those have been teleconferences, so they've been national, so people can get a phone call and have a chat with their friends or people that they've met online through the telephone if they're not so confident with talking online. So it's been keeping people connected throughout the pandemic in ways that they feel comfortable with. Most recently, I've been working on the Live on Demand project, which I think Ben will chat about a little bit later. Yeah, I think that's all of mine.
Yeah, well, just to add as well on the so the teleconference side of it, that was massively a COVID response. Obviously, we work very closely with meeting centres. They then weren't allowed to meet up, and there was just a dire need for these people to remain in contact. So we were reached out by a lot of the memory cafes that we work with. Is there anything that we can do? So we've essentially partnered up with I can say the name, can't I? Meetup Call, and yeah, free advertising. No, they're an incredible organization who they really liked what we did, and Emma's worked really closely with them to develop their software. So just one example, what happened initially is if somebody didn't have capability to dial in themselves, we could dial them in. But what happened when they picked up the phone, it was an automated voice to say you're about to be entered into a teleconference. But obviously fraud is so like all older people are just have it drummed in, every call is going to be a fraudulent call. Or so as soon as they heard this automated call, they then put the phone down. So something that we've worked with them is we can then pre-record a message. So when they pick up the phone, they'll hear one of our facilitators' voice that they're familiar with. And that's just one of the examples that that they've been really good, and we've worked together. So again, what was very, very Bristol based is then now not geographically restricted. Again, we can take that further and further afield.
And I remember the news story of an older lady getting arrested just because she wanted to get arrested. Was that to do with is it the washing line?
The washing line, yeah. So that went global. I think there was people, news reports from news desk, live news reports in New Zealand and all sorts who watched that tick around. Yeah, we had a lady that rode in the Rolls Royce from Peaky Blinders. Somebody got to meet the entirety of Bristol City Football Club. One lady went up in a plane, flew a plane at 88. So yeah, that was the washing line. So obviously had to stop during COVID because people meeting each other, but we've hopefully got a bit of funding to set that back up again in the new year. So we're really excited about that. So if anyone is interested in doing that, it's really simple, and quite a lot of people in the community did run that themselves, and we gave them all the resources to do so. So if anybody fancies doing that or getting involved, yeah, we can help you set one of those up yourself if you like.
I love that one. And I think I know the answer to this, but why is it called Alive Activities?
Why alive? Wow, Emma, do you want to take that one?
I don't know. No one's ever asked that question before. I'm assuming, you know, we like to breathe life into a care home, I think is probably the shorthand answer to that. You know, it's quite often people are quite detached, quite insular, and we go in with our balloons and our scarves and our music and our general vibe, and we bring the place to life. So yeah, I would say that's probably...
Just to add to that as well, so Alive was the name was set up by Tim. Tim is unfortunately no longer with us. The two people he set it up, we still work very closely with, but Tim actually passed away. So everything that we do is to try to not go too far away from his dream. So we wouldn't even contemplate trying to change the name, because that was his name. And that's what he came up with. So that all we're trying to do is better what his original aim and values were.
Oh, I'm sad to hear that, Ben and Emma. And I love the fact that it is just like, yeah, breathing life into care homes, which sort of leads me on to asking, you know, you say you go into care homes. What does that look like? What does that feel like? If I was sat in a care home now and some of your team came in, what would happen?
Wow, we've got a range of activities. Sort of the most popular and the easiest to explain to people, we've got two, which one's a variety hour, and that does exactly what it says on the tin. It can be absolutely anything. So we've got homes that we've been working with for years and years and years, and they still just want a variety hour, because basically we go in with a box of tricks, and residents are just people. One day they might be really up for something, the next day they might not be. So it can be anything from, we've got these big balloons that we blow up and we, you know, just hit around, and it's just a bit of daft fun. Or we've got, you know, song sheets. It can literally be anything. We've got musical instruments and things. And a variety hour, we normally say, so if it's a home that we haven't worked with before or not for a while, and their residents will have changed quite a lot, we normally go in with a variety hour, because it means our facilitator can just get a feel for what's working. And then we'll do a couple of variety hour sessions, and they'll change each week, but just so that we can, you know, see what gets people going and what doesn't. Guided reminiscence, I'm sure you're familiar with what that is, but just really, really quickly, it's reminiscing with people. You know, you sort of got guided meditation, and it's taking somebody on a journey of reminiscence. So that can be all sorts of sensory things, touch, smells. We've got that carbolic soap, which it's an acquired smell. I absolutely hate it, but there's loads of people that absolutely love it. And that's stored I'm not in the office at the moment, but it's stored just behind my desk, so I can smell it all the time that I'm in the office. But yeah, things like that. That's on the guided reminiscence. We've got so many different sessions up our sleeve, from, you know, childhood memories and all sorts, and all designed just to spark conversation amongst the group, and to give activity coordinators ideas as well, of they can see something that's really sparked a conversation, so then next time they'll be talking to Sue, who, really remembered something from school. That's just a conversation starter for them next time they're working with Sue. I'm just making up names, don't worry. And then from there, we do gentle seated movement and gentle yoga sessions. So that can be, we go in, obviously that's seated, and it's a bit more of a calming experience. But then we've got sort of Dancing Through the Ages as one of our projects. And well, that's actually a really lush story, because what started as being strictly women, only women wanted to be involved. Then a couple of sessions in, there'd be a couple of men at the door who would come and sort of have a look. And by the end of it, they can't wait for the session. They're the ones right at the front, ready for it to get started. And essentially what Dancing Through the Ages is, well, Emma, again, you know more about it, but it's an exploration of different dances. And whilst, yes, you do dance and you do learn the dances and things, it's also learning the history of where it came from. Am I sort of giving that justice, Emma? Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, and there's an aspect of reminiscence thrown in there as well. So where did you dance the waltz? Where would you dance the waltz? Did you ever do ballroom dancing? Who would you have danced with? And we know that dancing and ballroom dancing in various different types is really popular with a lot of the older people. So it's something that we've started doing as well, is sort of exercise by stealth. So getting them to talk about ballroom dancing and getting them to do some movements, but they don't realise they're actually doing a bit of exercise as well.
Yeah, you realise if you label it as exercise, no one comes, but label it as something else. And there are a couple of care homes that give you a sherry at the end of, if you come down doing an hour's exercise, you get treated with a sherry. I mean, I'd probably do a bit more exercise if I got a sherry at the end of every session.
They're very well attended, those sessions.
Yeah, certainly.
And as well, I guess just to add to the sessions, we do gardening sessions as well. So we take in our tools and people can plant window boxes and sometimes plant with the children. But all of our sessions, we try and embed sort of co-production, which is a fancy word of saying we ask the older people what they want to do. So our presenters are really good at having a conversation at the beginning, particularly if it's one of the variety hours that Ben mentioned. Do you want to sing today? Do you want to dance today? And they'll judge and read the room before they open their box of tricks and see what they do. So rather than being put in front of a telly or being told they're going to do the craft or painting or whatever it's going to be, they're asked at the very start what everyone feels like doing on that particular day.
Yeah, just to add to that, the first variety hour session that I went to, we went in and we had about 4 boxes full of different things, different like activities that we could do, because we hadn't worked in the care home for a while. And we started getting things out. Nobody looked very interested, and they had an Alexa in the home. And I just got chatting to this one guy who all he wanted to do was listen to Bob Marley. So I was like, well, does anybody object if we put some Bob Marley on? And we just spent an hour just listening to Bob Marley tunes and all dancing around the lounge, and it was absolutely incredible. It was great fun. But even so, the activity staff, they've got the Alexa, they had the resources there. They were just like, we would have thought of doing that. We never would have thought of asking if they wanted to listen. It's just thing. And then next time they've already got the Alexa, so they can just do that in another session.
Sort of feels like you inject some like different ideas and thoughts into what care home staff would maybe, they don't have that time to think about it. So you come along, you do a session, they get a bit of a boost off what you're doing, get some ideas off what you're doing, and then they can join in or themselves.
Yeah, as much as we want to engage the residents, we just want to change how people view activities, really. So there in a lot of care homes, this is definitely not across the board, but in a lot of care homes, there's care staff and there's activity staff, and care staff will be like, well, I'm not doing that, that's not my job, that's activities. But actually, an activity can be having a 5-minute conversation while you're changing a bed sheet. That's still an activity and that's still engagement. So what we're trying to do is sort of overlap and show that they're not 2 completely different departments. You can really work alongside each other. And just because you're a care home that doesn't necessarily have an activities budget or department, that doesn't mean you can't get involved in the activities side of it. which is actually where so live on demand comes in quite nicely, because as much as we want it to be for activity staff and to give activity staff ideas, and they've all been working so hard over this pandemic, it's understandable that they've run out of ideas. It's also there for care staff who have never had any training, just to be able to go, oh, let me pop this video on, because it's all designed to spark conversation. And also in care, a lot of the staff are agency, so they don't need to know Margaret. They can just go in and be like, oh, this video has been watched before, let's pop this on, and designed to spark conversation.
So you smoothly moved us into a live on demand, Ben. Very good. I liked what you did there. So you told us a little bit about it. Can you demonstrate what it is, and then can we talk about it a bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me, if I just share my screen. Okay, can you see that?
Yeah.
Cool. So it's all designed to be really, really simple, user-friendly. We know, and this is again it's a sweeping judgment, but activity staff are incredible at their jobs, incredible at what they do. But technology isn't necessarily, it doesn't need to be at the forefront of their skills. So all of this is designed to be really, really simple. If you can use Netflix, you can use this. So I've gone straight back to, so obviously you need to sign in. I've gone right back to the beginning just to show you how easy it is to use. And this is where my Wi-Fi always starts playing out. So I do apologize. This isn't the platform. This is just my Wi-Fi. We've got our password saved, but this is where you would just pop in your details. And that will bring you to this page. So this is the home page for Alive on Demand. So essentially what it is, it's a video streaming platform. We're sort of calling it a Netflix for older people, but it's so much more than that. Each video has additional resources. So what might be a 10-minute activity with the video, you've then got additional resources underneath. So you've got your quizzes, it's got links to other videos. So say, let's just have a look. This is the latest one, which is autumn. So if I go and watch here, I'm just going to pause it. If you come down, so obviously it's autumn, she's covering bonfire night, or the autumnal, so that you've got the fruits in there. So there's a recipe down there for a blackberry and apple pie that you can make along. There's a video of the history of Guy Fawkes. There's a bonfire night quiz. So all of them are additional resources to go with the video. And that being said, the video in itself is supposed to be an activity. It's not, we have not designed it just to stick play and leave the room or anything like that. It's all designed to spark conversation, reminisce with Nicola, and then she asks questions. I don't know if we've got time for me to play one through. Yeah, so if I do just let that play a minute, I'll
Hello and welcome to Alive on Demand, brought to you by Alive Activities. My name is Nicola, and today I'm going to be taking you on a trip down memory lane to talk about the subject of autumn.
I'm just going to skip this because
I'm going to start with the poem of autumn.
So yeah, can you see that? So she's just mentioned, she would obviously have just given a little spiel about autumn and things, and then it comes up with a question at the bottom, and that's a signal for activity staff or people in their own homes or with their loved ones. Sort of pause for thought, pause for reflection, have a bit of a conversation there. If it's not organic, you don't need to pause, but so it's just all, yeah, just to spark conversation. And we know it can be quite difficult particularly with quite new diagnosis. It can be quite difficult for people to sort of broach the subject of dementia. So this is just quite a soft way of, you don't need to panic. Oh, what am I going to say to my mum? You don't need to panic. You've got this tool there, just for organic conversations to come out of it.
Just quickly, Ben, do you want to show just some of the objects and the photos so they can see some of the stimuli that she uses in the videos as well?
Yes. That's just going to be a case of skipping through, isn't it?
Yeah.
Picking apples from the tree, perhaps scrumping them from your neighbours. And what did you do with those apples? Perhaps you picked some of these fruits to go with them. Picking blackberries with your children, as you could pick. And maybe at autumn time you might have gone looking for these. Have a look at this squirrel here. What do you think he's eating? Autumn is a time for food ready for hibernation. Perhaps like this hedgehog here.
So I'm not actually sure if she, on this autumn one,
Yeah,
she's got.
but
So like we've got sporting memories and stuff, and she's got like a really old leather sort of pigskin ball that she's got physically, and then the camera zooms in on that one. And sorry, I should have had a better example for that, Emma. I didn't know you were going to ask me that. But what I was going to do to go back, so this is the home screen. This is when you log in, this is what you'll get. We've got full control of this banner up here. So this was the latest one that we've put on. So that will go straight up there. So if you're regularly using this and you want new ideas, they'll come up in this top banner, and you can scroll through, and it's got sort of the different collections. These are quite good. You've got somebody who's into music or piano or the sound of music, which most people are. This is Susie. She's brilliant on the piano, and she's done a little series of history of musicals, and this one's on the sound of music. So you've got the score sheets down here that you can physically print out, so that you can have something in hand to, if you've got people who can read music. And then also additional videos are links to the full Sound of Music soundtrack. You can watch the original video of that song. Basically what this is a tool of bringing everything together just to make your life much easier, so that you don't have to keep going around and looking at different. One activity will lead straight on really nicely to another activity. So I will go back to what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so obviously it was bonfire night on Friday. So we put this one out, it came out at 3 a.m. And then everybody got an email to say, everybody who's subscribed got an email to say, it's bonfire night today, have you checked out the latest autumnal themed? So even that, you don't need to be scrolling. The email address that you've used to register gives you a prompt of, oh, brilliant, I didn't have an activity planned for today, let's go and do that. But so what sets this aside from the rest, and not just being a Netflix, is your ability to filter your searches. So as you would probably expect, you can filter through categories. So you've got your guided reminiscence, and all your, so guided tours are, so exploring the Underfall Yard, that's one of the guided tours. Seated exercise and dance, gardening and nature, anything that somebody might be interested in, you can just select that, and that will bring up all the videos that are related to those. You've also got your author. So you've got the lovely Wilf here, who he's proving to be very popular. I'm not going to say why, but he's easy on the eye, apparently, we've been told. But yeah, so he's been proven to be very popular. So if you've got residents or loved ones who really like Wilf, you can just go on author, and go down to Wilf, and that'll just bring up all the videos that Wilf's done. But our USP, the thing that sets us really aside, is being able to search by level of dementia. So that works particularly well in group activities. If you're working with, you've got a group of people, some living with advanced dementia, some with no dementia at all, you can go to everybody, and that's going to be a video that caters for everybody. So it's not going to be really sort of fact heavy, and loads of science and things like that. It's going to be quite calming in nature in itself. But that being said, it's not going to be, and I don't really like the word, but it's not too patronizing. So somebody who is a lot more cognitively able, it's not dumbing things down for them as well. So it's just something that incorporates everybody. Everybody can feel a part of it, and everybody can be included. Also, video length. If you've got an activity, you've got sort of 5 minutes, and you're like, oh, I just want to pop something on, just get a bit of a conversation going under 10 minutes. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got an hour activity, and you want a bit of a longer video, you can search on your 30 minutes plus, and that'll bring up anything over 30 minutes. And yeah, you've got the type of content, which again is similar to the categories. One more thing I wanted to show you. Oh yeah, down in collections. So these are just where it's similar to the categories, but it's a bit more. So we've built these collections. So anything calming piano, for example, famous folk music, that'll be, because we've got a few different people doing different things, that'll be a collection of all of those. Poetry readings, we've got loads and loads of poetry on there at the moment. Poetry's proven to be very popular as well. So that's just another way of being able to search. We have had people who have said, oh well, I just I like just scrolling through, that's half the fun of Netflix, just scrolling through, spend 3 hours trying to find something to watch and then only watch for 20 minutes. But you can do that as well. You can just go through and just have a scroll through of all the different categories if that's the way you want to do it. Our apps are just about to be launched. So once the apps are launched, you can also watch everything offline. So we're very aware, particularly in care homes, you might have really good Wi-Fi in the offices where people want to send emails and things, but maybe not so good in the lounge, and particularly it very rarely stretches up to residents' rooms. So this is just a really nice way of being able to, you can download it offline, you can go around all the rooms, do one-to-one activities, and you don't need to worry about having Wi-Fi. So yeah, that's not available on the browser, but the apps are just about to be launched, so that will be accessible once that happens. And also being able to add to favorites, so you can each login, if you get one subscription, you can use that on up to 5 devices. So you can be running a group activity, and 4 other devices can be doing one-to-ones in different areas. So the add favorites function is really useful for, say, if you're the main activity coordinator and you've got a team underneath you, something's worked really well with a group of residents. If you add that to your favorites and then you're off the next day, the next person who's coming in can just see that's worked really well. Either that was watched with a different group of people, so let's give that a go with this group, or also once you go on one that's added to favorites, it will come up with sort of suggested videos. So if you know one thing has worked really well, it will come up with others in that collection and category as well. So there you go, related videos down the bottom.
And can I just ask, because you're talking a lot about care homes, but I know that you're also, this isn't just for care homes, this is for people at home. So can you tell us a little bit about, the people who are subscribing at home to using this service?
Yeah, I do apologize. That's obviously my forte is working within care homes and things. So yeah, working in the community, it's all transferable. It's exactly the same. I did mention earlier, you might have people who sort of struggle to initiate conversations, so that it can just be enjoyed with your loved one, just you and your loved one. It can be a bit of a family activity. One thing that we're doing in a bit of a push for Christmas is sort of buy a subscription for your granny, for your mum, and if you sat around together over Christmas, it can be just an activity to do together. It's also brilliant for if you have got sort of external carers that go into homes. This can be something that if you yourself have set that up for your mum, say, this can be something that you tell them that you've got in your home, and then you've got peace of mind that you know they're going to go in and they're going to use something, and your mum, I keep saying your mum, but you know your loved one is going to be physically engaged because you know that they've used this before and they feel comfortable with it.
Can I just say as well, because we'll have the apps and because you're able to add things to favourites and download them offline, if you've got a loved one or a relative that perhaps doesn't have the internet, doesn't want the internet, which we've seen is quite a common thing, you're able to get an iPad or a device, download the apps and download a library of videos that you know that older person might enjoy, and then you know they only have to press potentially 3 different buttons to get to the videos that you know that they will enjoy. And that can be, you know, there are, you know, we have a lot of slow TV that we're starting to build up, which is an hour-long train journey or a barge ride, you know, and if somebody wants to enjoy something that's calming, if you want, they can access that really, really easily, something that they can find comforting and relaxing. So yeah, in terms of that and having peace of mind, we can't always be there, but I can make sure that they've got things that they can access that I know they identify with and I know that they find calming and relaxing and enjoying. That's a really big thing that people told us they'd like quite a lot.
Yeah, just on so slow TV has been proven to combat distress behaviors, and to be honest, when we first started it, that wasn't our main focus, was it? But it's proven to be so popular that we're trying to get loads and loads of calming slow TV experiences out there. To be perfectly honest as well, if I'm struggling to sleep, I quite often put one of them on. It's really, really calming and really nice. Do
you want to show in the train driver?
Oh, I was just going to go on the barge, but I go on the train. So yeah, essentially what that is just a whole journey of a view from it's not called a cockpit, is it? From the driver, from where the driver stands. But we've also got the same journey, but from looking out as a passenger. So you're looking out of a side window and you can see the trees going past and the fields and all of that.
And just to add with the calming side of things, we're also doing non-verbal tours of attractions and locations. So we've done a non-verbal tour of an old concert hall and a theatre, and we're looking at doing them for a dockyard and boat building, which is literally just a visual, you know, sound-based tour.
So it's just the sensory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I love about you know, as you're talking about what you do, it feels like a lot of it's organic. It feels like you have an idea and you think, oh, I'm going to put it out there, and then you go, oh my god, actually that's going to really, you know, like it's going to be beneficial in this area, and you might not have made that connection at first, but you'll try it. So you're trying out new things, and then you go, oh, actually that's going to be really good over here, or someone's going to tell you, oh, it was really good for my mum or my dad or whoever.
Yeah, it's so organic is the right word. We everything we do, we want it to be really, really user-led. So we've got years and years experience that we've sort of run from initially. You know, what works, what do care homes want to see, what do members of the community want to see. So that's how it sort of started. But then we wanted to, so any feedback that we get from anybody, we basically want to make happen. We are aware that a lot of all the guided reminiscence and everything is, you know, that can be nationwide. There are some of the guided tours are a bit more sort of Bristol focused, because when we were starting, it was going to be Bristol focused at first to then look at going nationwide. But there's only it's 3 or 4 things that are Bristol focused. The rest is less geographically restricted. But yeah, like you said, we really want it to be organically built between each other. So if we've got people who are having a trial on it, and they come up and say, oh, Betty was watching it and she suggested this, absolutely, we want to go out and film that. Just to let you know as well, this whole concept started with Emma and myself being like, we found out that we were going to go into lockdown. We got told we were going into lockdown for 3 weeks. We were having conversations going, oh my god, imagine if we actually couldn't come into the office for 3 weeks. Yeah, exactly. 2 years later. But so this came as we were like, oh my god, we're not going to be able to go into the care homes. What are these guys? What are the residents going to do if no one can come in? What are they going to do? So Emma and I ran around with a camera and a little dictaphone, just filming things that we knew that they wanted to see from other projects that we had done. So we sort of ran around the botanical gardens and basically did, in about 3 days, Emma, we went and filmed as much stuff as we could and just record and then edited it down as much as we could. And just gave it to the care homes for free, just to be like, look, if this is going to help you in your activities in any way, please use it. And we got such a good response from it that we were like, well, hold on, this has got legs. We need to progress this and see where it goes.
So how many films are on there now?
I think as of today, we're touching 200 now. So, and that's, you know, some of those videos are an hour long, some of them are 5 minutes. So, you know, there's easily 24 hours of content up there. And then with all of the additional information, you know, you can turn any 20-minute video into a whole afternoon's worth of activity. So, yeah, about 200. Predominantly, we've got quite a lot of music, quite a lot of poetry. All of the poems come with reading notes, so you can do a poetry dissection, autographs of the, you know, author, biography of the author. We're filming the ballet on Saturday, which we're very excited about. We know ballet is something that older people really, really are interested in. So we're filming the rehearsals, we're filming them, plan the costumes. So we're behind the scenes at the ballet, which people are really excited about. A lot of urban legends, superstitions, folk tales, folklore, storytelling, which we know people are really interested in. Sporting based reminiscence, so talking about favourite sports and bands that people have seen. Yeah, so there's a huge selection. It's been fantastic to film it all. I've seen some great things.
Well, to add to that as well. So yeah, there's, I mean, it changes every day. Emma's like, I'll pitch and say, oh yeah, we've got over 180 videos. She's like, no, there's more than that now. But yeah, so it's ever expanding. And so like, for instance, at Christmas, we want to do an advent calendar and a countdown to Christmas. So each day we'll release a new video and a new activity. So it's going to be constantly expanding. We don't ever want to just sit on and be like, oh, these are the videos. We want it to be really, like I keep saying, user-led. Don't really like that term, but any ideas that come on from somebody who's subscribing and thinks that something would work, we're happy to jump on it and go and give it a go, basically.
And as the year goes, we started in January in the middle of COVID, but as the year comes along, you know, we've just hit Halloween, so we've carved a pumpkin. We've just hit bonfire night, so we did obviously the autumn reminiscence you've just seen. We've been out and filmed fireworks, and then as we get closer to Christmas, we're doing mulled wine and cakes, and there's going to be snow. So you know, as we go through the year, we're slowly building up things that things pop up as and when that are important to people. So that's been fun for us to keep an eye on those as well.
So for me, so if I was going to subscribe to this for someone in my family, how much does it cost?
Okay, so if you're, let me, I'm still signed in, aren't I? So we've got a few different pricing structures. So obviously in individual, which is what you would be, an individual to sign up with. I do apologize for the 99p's. We wanted to keep everything really simple and just do like $5. The platform we're using doesn't allow for that because Americans seem to think everybody $5.99 sounds so much cheaper than £6, even though we all round it up anyway. But so an individual monthly subscription would be $5.99 a month. So that would be every month $5.99. But then if you were to sign up for 6 months, then you get 10% off. And then if you were to sign up annually off the bat, then you get a 20% discount. So just to let you know, the orange ones are individual. And obviously because care homes do have budget, that it's a bit more expensive for those guys. So the blues are for care homes and all the oranges are for individuals.
Brilliant, thank you for that.
That being said, though, I'll provide you with a discount code after, so that anybody listening right now, if they want to sign up, they can get a further 10% off all of those prices.
Oh, I like that extra bonus.
Yeah.
I just want to invite people, if they have any questions for Ben and Emma, please pop them into the Q&A now, because conscious that we're in our last 10 minutes now. So if you've got anything to ask that we've not covered already, please jot it down in there, and then we'll come to those. So that was a really good, I feel like I get it now. I really get, there's 200 films there. I love that there's something on there for everyone, and it's growing, and it's not going to stop by the sounds of it.
It's definitely not going to stop. No, it's definitely not going to stop. Just while something that I have sent you, Emma, I've just realized that I didn't share. Shall I really quickly show the promo video? Makes sense, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, oh, it's lovely. It's
How
so
did
nice.
how did I forget that? Yeah, bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to pull that up.
I've got a great question for you once we've watched this. Someone's just texted it to me. You'll love it.
Oh, wicked. I love a question that's going to keep me on my toes. I mean, if you want to ask it now, I'm happy.
Oh, okay. It's a suggestion really, more than a question. And the suggestion is, have you thought about white knuckle rides?
Oh, well, I'll have to get on to film it, won't I? Do you know what?
Yeah.
Our videographer loves roller coasters, absolutely loves them. I think that is a brilliant idea. Yeah. Bird's eye view of a roller coaster.
you say that. This actually came in. I was having conversations with the care group, and the director, who was quite well to do, he was very well spoken, and he just suddenly came out with that. He's like, what about filming roller coasters? And I was like, well, it would be something that we need to discuss with, get a few more people who might be behind the idea. It's not just because, you like roller coasters. And basically he went on this whole story that he downloads YouTube videos all the time and actually simulates his residents are on a roller coaster, because he's got a real passion for them, and he doesn't do it with everybody. Some of the residents don't like it. He's like, no, they absolutely love it, some of them. So he's desperate for us to get roller coasters on there as well.
The question is, does he sort of take chairs for them as well?
Does it? Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like probably.
Yeah, I don't think we could put it under calming journeys, but we could definitely put it under journeys.
yeah. I don't think it would it?
Thank you for that one, Joy. Sounds like this one's got legs and they're going to do it. So if you've got any other suggestions, text me now and we'll get them on with it.
Yeah.
So I should say Joy's living with dementia and loves white knuckle rides. So.
Oh, lush, lovely. Well, Joy, just to say, if you wanted to go on there now, you can subscribe without subscribing and putting, so without paying a monthly subscription. And then we do have sample videos that are free. So the first episode in a series is free. So if you did want to go on, just have a view of those, and then we can sort of send you notifications as and when new things come about. So if we then got a load of roller coaster footage, we could definitely let you know about that. Right, I've got it. Let's it's only a couple of minutes, don't worry.
So while we're watching this film, if anyone's got any other questions, please pop them into the Q&A and then we'll just pick them up in the last couple of minutes.
The videos on Alive on Demand are absolutely brilliant. Our residents really love it. Residents that don't even interact that much, they've interacted, they start giggling, they remember stuff, their naughtiness comes out. It's absolutely brilliant. We have residents that will be like, oh, are we doing a Live on Demand this week? I'm like, yep, every Wednesday, yep, we're doing it. So it's really good.
It was very good. I enjoyed it ever so much.
Some pretty hair slides, like these ones here.
Because it's nice to remember things like the curlers, and I used to give my mum a twink perm, and it was little wishbone curlers. Yeah, it's nice to remember.
Blues of England. Can you remember that song?
Yeah.
Not sure if it was a chart topper.
Literally, they absolutely love it. I can't fault it, and I really appreciate that Alive on Demand came to our doorsteps. So yeah, thank you, Alive.
Thank you very much, because giving us time to think about things and remember things.
That's a nice summary of everything that you do. I work Alive on Demand.
I know, probably should have started with that, shouldn't I, Emma? No, so obviously that's sort of care home focused, but actually so what we went in to film was a group activity, and I got a phone call from Mariam, who's on the activity coordinator in that video, really upset because she was like, oh, Sue really wants to be in the video, but she can't get out of bed today. She's bedridden. She's really upset. So I said, well, hold on, we want some footage of one-to-one activities in rooms anyway. Like, will she be happy if we go into her room? And so she was made up. And that, even though that is in a care setting, that's her. That's really not prompted by us or anything. There's just a camera pointing at her. She's got the iPad. You can see that she's answering the questions. She's really engaging. She's talking back to it. So even though it might be in a care setting, that is just one older person using that and reacting and engaging with it.
And I love how it came out of COVID, this creativity, this like, let's do this. And it's just opened up a whole new area. I guess you've got like recruit new people to work on it, someone to film it, someone to edit, to get it out, to sort the platform out. That's just like a massive piece of work in itself.
Yep. Yeah, everyone else got furloughed and we just worked 3 times as hard, I think.
We took on everybody else's job though, didn't we? Yeah, there's been a couple of near nervous breakdowns, but we know we're doing it for the right reasons and we love what we do, so that's what gets us through it.
Yeah, seeing that promo makes it all worth it.
Yeah, I've probably seen it about 18 times now. I still well up every time I watch it.
I've had a question. Does it work better on iPads, tablets, or on a bigger screen?
Great question. So we've got, it works on a browser, in which case, so I'm not sure if people are aware of being able, you can, on a laptop, your browser is just what you type in the top, where your URL. You can connect that to a bigger screen using various different cables, HDMI. You can also cast, so smart TVs, you can cast direct to from your browser. If you don't have a smart TV, you can get a Chromecast for about 20 quid. In terms of the apps, we've got Android and iOS apps. So if you're using an app, every tablet is going to be either an Android or an iOS. So you just obviously download the relevant app, and both have the exact same functionality. And again, you can still connect to a bigger TV. So group activities, we always recommend you connect it to a bigger TV. So you've still got the cast function and the HDMI, and you just need an adapter to, you know, iPads are Lightning, so just get HDMI to a Lightning and plug that in the bottom, and you'll see exactly what's on your iPad on the big TV.
And in terms of versus bigger screen, I guess it depends on your, you know, your site, or you know, how good you are with various different things. If you're going into the browser, you'll have to sign in every time. If you're going to do it on your iPad, you can stay logged in and you can save your videos offline if you don't have the internet. And maybe if you can't see further away, that's easier to have closer and you can hear it a little better. It just depends on you and how you like to see things. Really, the functionality is pretty much the same.
I get that it's as good on either way. So either the big screen or little, it just depends on who's looking at it, how many are there, and what the activity is. You know, if it's a big group, then on a big screen. If it's like a one-to-one, then on the little one. Or if someone maybe has sight or hearing issues, then one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
wonderful.
And also you can, so all the videos will have subtitles, and they are accessible and user-friendly. They can be massive so that you can see them properly. And we are just in the process of translating to lots and lots of different languages.
Oh, that was a good question that didn't come up. Brilliant. Well, you know what? We've run out of time. Well, worse than that, we've gone over, but we were like 1 minute late, so we haven't really. But I just want to say thank you so much, Ben. Thank you, Emma. I know that you're both absolutely really busy at the moment, so thank you for making the time to come and tell us about Alive activities and Alive on Demand. Really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure. And it's really nice to hear about everything going on all around the country. So keep up the good work and keep in contact.
Definitely. And Rachel said, thank you. Got some great ideas. Oh, that's great, Rachel. You know, it'd be brilliant, wouldn't it, to think of some projects up here, some filming up here. Thanks, Ben and Emma,
Absolutely.
for your passion and energy. Yes, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I hope everyone has a good day. And take care, everyone.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
Bye.